Now we continue our profiles of people from Indiana making an impact in Washington. Over the years, few senators have garnered more respect on Capitol Hill than Indiana's Richard Lugar. He's been a fixture in the Senate since 1977, seemingly unbeatable at the ballot box. But now Richard Lugar is very busy gearing up for a challenge from his own party, as we found out when we flew to the nation's capital to visit him. No, this is not a library. It's Dick Lugar's posh Washington office. The sheer number of books he's accumulated is testament to how long he's been in this town. Most have been given to him as gifts.
How many of these have you read?
Oh, only a very small percentage.
Is that right?
Lugar hasn't had much time for reading lately. Besides the business of the Senate, he's been occupied with the matter of winning re-election in 2012.
I don't think I've ever been involved in a campaign for a statewide office that started the whole year before the year, but nevertheless, here we are, and we're very competitive.
Senator Dick Lugar has been a member of Congress almost 12,500 days, the longest in Indiana history, and some members of the Tea Party say that's long enough. They want a more conservative candidate and met in central Indiana last month to start the process of uniting behind a single opponent for Lugar in the 2012 Republican primary.
Thank you for what you've done. We respect you greatly as a person and for what you've done in the past, but to go forward, we feel it's going to need to be a different candidate.
Among other criticisms, Tea Partiers have taken Lugar to task for supporting the new START nuclear arms treaty with Russia, claiming the U.S. is giving up too much and Russia not enough.
I've got to say, get real. I hear Tea Party or other people talking about they were against START. I said, well, hang on.
The senator's also ready with a retort for those who've laid into him for confirming President Obama's Supreme Court nominees, saying he looks at a nominee's character and professional qualifications in order to avoid creating a polarizing atmosphere.
I hope people sort of understand that, because otherwise we polarize the Supreme Court business to a point that conservative justices offered by a conservative Republican president who will be elected at some point are going to have trouble.
Trouble in next year's primary is something Lugar is working fiercely to avoid. He doesn't officially need them for at least another year, but he's already collected the signatures of thousands who support his re-election.
We're just going to get all of our signatures early.
Make no mistake, it's counter-publicity to the Tea Partiers' loud calls for his ouster. But what if his expected primary opposition does prevail? Would Lugar fight on with an independent candidacy? He says he has no idea and hasn't even thought about it.
I'm going to make judgments carefully, of course.
When it comes to possible primary opponents for Lugar, State Treasurer Richard Murdoch and State Senator Mike Delph are the names most often mentioned. The Washington news source The Hill reports Lugar has a $2 million head start on them.